Hello, Booktube, and welcome back. Well, I'm going to do another one of these videos. I think I've only done one before, so I haven't done a series of it, but it's a kind of why you should read, or X, whoever it's going to be. I think my last one, which I did about 5, 6 months ago, was about Robert McFarlane. You should go and read him, go and check him out, folks. Brilliant author. So I thought I'll come back today and do one on Bill Bryson. A lot of people have asked me because if you don't know anything about me, I was a fiction reader, mostly sci-fi, fantasy. And what was the quantum leap that made me start reading non-fiction massively? And it was this guy, Bill Bryson. I found like the gateway of finding an interesting subject which you really really like, and then adding humor on top of that, which Bill Bryson is known for. Now, at the time when I picked one of his books, I was traveling anyway, so it made sense to get a kind of travel book. But he doesn't just write travel books. He does all sorts. He does language, history, science, travel. He covers a lot of topics, a huge amount of topics. And I'll just go through you why I like him and show you his collection of books. I think I've got them all, so I won't spend too long on each one. I think the only one I haven't got is African Diaries. It's just a little diary of where he went to. He was on a plane in Africa somewhere. I haven't read it. It's only like 50 pages anyway. It was for charity. But yeah, as I said, what got me into Bill Bryson is definitely the humour. He's crude, maybe not for you because he is crude, but it's that kind of really dry, sarcastic delivery of humour. He writes very personable. It's just he's not a high muckety muck. He's quite a personable guy, and when he writes, that comes to me. It comes across, and he finds it incredibly easy to share his experiences with you in a very accessible way, as a humour author will do. And Bill Bryson is top of the line there. But as I said, he just picks a random subject sometimes and just goes head first straight into it, and does a lot of research and just tries to deliver to you a kind of simplified version of what he's found out. So pick up Bill Bryson. He is a fantastic, humorous author, especially if you're trying to find, to put your big toe into like into non-fiction realm. Pick up Bill because his books are funny. So I'll give you the rundown of all the major ones. I think I've got all of them, as I said. So this one starts here. This is just a biography of William Shakespeare. And as you can see, it's only a wee thing. And it's basically going through all the myths, because we don't actually know that much about Shakespeare. But the love for his writing absolutely sings in this tiny, tiny book. But again, it's going through all the myths, what we know, what we don't know, a lot, and then obviously a lot about his plays and his poems. But yeah, if you want to look for like a small condensed version of what we know about William Shakespeare, pick this up. Next one he's also known for editing, is Bill, and he loves the English language, and that's why he wrote Mother Tongue. I just wrote, what am I chatting? I just read a YQ, oh God, what was the name of the book by Danny Bates? I think it's When YQ Needs You. It's this kind of history of the English alphabet. But that's a more serious look. This is less serious. And it goes through why is these silent letters in English language, the history of cases, swearing and all that. And it's good fun. So if you're interested in the English language, pick up Mother Tongue. Next one is a history-esque book. This is 1927. So this is America in the year of 1927, all the highs and all the lows. So the picture on the front is what's it? Charles Lindbergh. So the guy who flew the plane over the Atlantic. I think was it the Atlantic? I think so, wasn't it? The little plane. So the history behind that. Babe Ruth came to like the big name here. Al Capone. Al Capone. Al Capone. And the the banning of alcohol and all that goodness. So everything what happened in the summer of 1927 and the highs of that year, because right round the corner from 1927 was the US stock market crash, wasn't it? So it's talking about the highs of just one summer. And it's a bit of a chunker, to be honest. So there's a lot went on in 1927. You can read, again, humour all the way throughout. Okay, the next two can be taken at the same time. This is a travelogue kind of a book. So this is Notes from a Small Island, and the sequel, Road to Little Dribbling. This is, they whacked myself in the face then. This is a travelogue of the British Isles. So he goes to my gaff right here in the first book, my neck of the woods. And again, he's going over, find all the like weird British mannerisms and all that, and it absolutely sings. Now, the guy absolutely loves the UK, wounds and all. He wrote that first. That's what he's really known for in the UK, Notes from a Small Island. But that is his follow-up 20 years later, going around the same places and seeing how it's changed. Picked this up. He was interested in British society and history. It's good. It's funny. Okie dokie. Next one's a bit of a chunker. This is At Home. Again, this is looking at each room of the house. So we didn't have to journey that far to do this book. So it's going into the kitchen, the dining room, the bedroom, and a bit of history of where, what went on, i.e. bedroom, sex, kitchen. It talks about the Spice Road, toilets, he talks about hygiene and all that. So anything that links to a particular room in your house, he delivers in a very funny, kind of British way. And I like At Home. I think it's really quite good. Okie dokie. So the next one, it's going to fall over, is the last book he wrote. This is The Body. Obviously, from the title, you'll be able to guess what this is. This is more of a science-based book. And I have got the other one. I just don't know where it is. Oh, I'll get it down in a minute. I can see the hardback behind me. So this is looking at the human body and how we fight back infections. How white blood cells protect us, and just how the human body works, right, folks? And the science behind it. And obviously, he's done the research and he delivers it in a typical Bill Bryson, down-to-earth, personable way where you'll be able to understand what's going on in the body. And the other science one, I have got a different addition to this because this weighs an absolute ton. So this was written about 20 years ago. So this is probably what he's known really for. So this is a short history of nearly everything. So it's a bit a riff on Stephen Hawking's A Brief History of Time, whatever the book's called, which I've read and I struggle with. That's why I enjoy Bill Bryson much better. So yeah, this is looking at the history of human knowledge and science throughout early days. So it's talking about the dinosaurs. It's talking about, that's obviously gravity, all that good stuff where everybody pretends to know, they understand it, but they don't. Even the scientists. And it goes and talks about different creatures, and it's all sorts. It's absolutely brilliant book. Yeah, it just gives you all like the science, what's going on throughout the world, and especially the big ones that have changed, the likes of Darwin and Isaac Newton and whatnot. And then one of my favourite parts is when he talks about the Bone Wars. The Bone Wars when the the archaeologists, the dinosaur people, were like sabotaging each other because they wanted to be the first to like present this new dinosaur that they found. So yeah, really good book. Next one is Notes from a Big Country. So this is, I just talked about the UK one, and I've buried it under this massive Bill Bryson book. So there it is. Notes from a Small Island. So he wrote this because he was leaving the UK to go back and live in the States. And basically, this is his next book about when he went back to the States and how it's changed and just finding belonging again. American going back to find his roots after being so long away in another country. Again, typical Bill Bryson. I absolutely adore it. That's Notes from a Big Country. Okay, the next few are kind of the same. So this is The Lost Continent. So this is going through the little places in America, the forgotten places. So I think this is one where he travels down Route 66 and he just gets into all sorts of mishaps and gets lost and all that, because a lot of these old towns and a lot of these old towns are now completely near enough dead because of highways and all that, and that's killed off these towns. So it's going all over the US, all to the sort of small towns. Typical Bill Bryson travelogue. You get a lot of history of the area that he's in, delivered in a very comic way. Next one is Made in America. So this is literally a kind of less of a travelogue, more of a history of all the weird stuff in the States, like why did he say things differently compared to people from the UK. So a little bit of history. He looks back on the Hollywood, what's the history of Hollywood, Blockbuster, where did Poco come from, and proper good stuff. I've only got 4 left, folks, don't worry. This is The Life and Times of the Thunderbolt Kid. I don't know why this is one of my favourite books, but it is. So this is him talking about growing up in 1950s America, and the sci-fi, age, and America was booming at the time in the 1950s, and this is just reflecting what his life was like during that time period and what was going on in the 1950s as well. Great little book. Next one is, I think this is one of his first books. So this is neither here nor there. This is Travels Around Europe. Again, he goes from this one and the next one. He's with his friend. Part of it is with his friend Katz, who sometimes Bill Bryson finds really annoying. So they butt heads a few times, which adds to the comic element. But in this one, he gets robbed by gypsies. He gets lost all the time again. He goes to even really small out the way places like Liechtenstein. So if you're interested in a humorous travelogue of the European continent, this is neither here nor there. And the other one, which is probably what he's most famously known for, is A Walk in the Woods. So this is going through the Appalachian Trail with his friend Katz, and this is probably one of his funniest books because those two butt heads all the time, and on the trail they talk to loads of cranks, weird people like, how can we ditch this person who's following us? We're all walking on the same trail. So it gives a bit of a history of the path itself, and he talks a lot about the murders that have gone along because he gets interested in those kind of side issues, and it just obviously talks a lot about bears and all the bears that have ate people and whatnot. So this is probably one of his funniest books, A Walk in the Woods. But my personal favourite or funniest book is definitely Down Under. So this is a travelogue. He's on top form in this book, travelling around Australia, and again, just finding really quirky stuff out of about little Australian towns and the cities and whatnot. I think this is a really, really fun read. This, and again, it's all about it's that the way he just engages with you on that kind of like personable level, where you get it, you get where he's coming from. I just think it's great. So yeah, that is like a quick drive through of the majority, if not all, apart from African Diaries, of the Bill Bryson library. So yeah, as I said, go and read a bit of Bill Bryson if you want a short, nice, well, not all of them are short, a bit of nice comic look at the world, a light-hearted comic look at the world. And that's it for me, folks. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye, Booktube.